Hey, welcome back to Redeeming Hope, and this season, Discovering Who I Am. This season is about something I'm experiencing in real time, learning who I am when trauma began too early for me to have a clear sense of who I was before it. I am Julie M. Lane, a survivor and a fellow traveler, not a mental health professional. I just simply share my experiences, perceptions, and reflections, in the hope that perhaps something in my journey will help you reflect on your own. Today, I want to talk about the present tense. I've spent a lot of time looking backward. There is value in that for me. Self-reflection has become an important part of my life. I reflect on what went well. I reflect on what did not. I think about the past, the present, and the future I anticipate. But recently, I've been wondering whether I sometimes become so focused on understanding who I became that I forget to notice who I am becoming. There is a difference. For much of my healing journey, I wanted answers, and I continue to want answers as I continue that journey. I wanted to understand why. Why do I react this way? Why does this bother me? Why do I withdraw? Why do I push myself so hard? Why do I feel uncomfortable when someone is kind to me? Why is rest so difficult? And why do I sometimes feel safer working than simply sitting with myself? These are very important questions, but there is another question beginning to emerge. What do I notice about myself today? Today, I know I'm a nature lover. I do not mean I simply enjoy a nice view. Nature's become a place where I can hear myself. I grew up in Southern California. There was traffic, there were crowds, there was movement everywhere. I would search for places where I could hear the earth. I walked along beaches. I took nature walks. I looked for quiet. For the past many years, rural living has become increasingly important to me. I want to hear the wind through the trees. I want to hear the birds. I want to notice weather moving across the mountains. I want to hear the strange little music that happens when the wind moves across the strings of my harp. I once wrote about playing my harp outdoors and hearing the strings begin to vibrate in the wind. The sound is quiet. You have to listen carefully. And then, almost as quickly as it appears, the wind carries it away. And I think I'm learning to listen to myself that way, carefully, without demanding that everything be loud. Maybe parts of who I am have always whispered. I was simply too busy surviving to hear them. I'm also discovering how deeply I need creativity. Writing, music, research, creating systems, discovering ideas. These things energize me. I recently wrote about coming back to center. I realized I had once again become pulled into opportunities and ideas that seemed important. I can do that easily. I see possibilities everywhere. But eventually, I noticed that I was no longer rooted in the things I actually wanted. I wanted to create. I wanted to write. I wanted to arrange. I wanted to record. I wanted to work on my books. I wanted to research. And that was it. The clarity surprised me. Not because these interests were new, but because I was finally listening to them together. Perhaps this is what discovering myself in the present tense looks like. Not creating a personality profile. Not choosing 5 words that define me. Rather, listening to patterns. What do I want to return to? What gives me energy? What leaves me depleted? What do I think about when no one is asking anything of me? What do I create when I'm given space? Those questions are helping me learn about myself. I'm still an introvert. At least I think I am. I have wondered whether my introversion was shaped by abuse. Maybe it was, maybe it was not. But today, I know I value solitude. I also know solitude and isolation are not the same thing. That is a line I'm still learning to recognize. Sometimes being alone restores me. Sometimes I'm hiding. The behavior can look exactly the same from the outside. The difference is what is happening within, and that requires honesty. And I'm trying to become more honest myself. Not harsh, honest. There is a difference. I think for years I believed self-awareness required criticism. If I noticed something, I immediately needed to fix it. Now I'm experimenting with simply noticing. Julie, you seem really happy when you're writing. Julie, you keep talking about recording music. Julie, you feel more peaceful near the trees. Julie, you're taking on too much again. You're rushing. Julie, you enjoyed that conversation with that person. And Julie, you do not actually want to do that project. These observations may sound small, but I think they are how I am meeting myself, one observation at a time. Perhaps identity is not always discovered through one life-changing revelation. Maybe it's discovered through attention. If trauma taught me to pay close attention to everyone around me, perhaps I can now learn to turn some of that attention towards myself. Not because I'm more important than anyone else, but because I matter too. That is still something too I'm learning. So this week, I invite you to consider a question. What do you notice about yourself in the present tense? Not who you were, not who you believe you should become. Who are you today? What are you drawn toward? What do you keep returning to? What makes you curious? You don't need to define yourself. Just listen. Perhaps there is a quiet part of you waiting to be heard. If you would like to continue walking alongside me, I invite you to subscribe to Redeeming Hope. You can always find more about me, my writings, and reflections at juliemlane.com. I hope you will join me next time as I talk about one place where I truly am returning, my harp. Until then, I'm Julie M. Lane. Please be kind to yourself.